Hey, what's going on everyone, and welcome back to once again another video. Today I'm going to be talking about tips and tricks on how to win the Gulag much more frequently, as well as talk to the new players to the game that are either free to play or just playing Warzone for the first time, and kind of explaining how the Gulag works. So for those who are experienced within Warzone and then just want the tips and tricks and how to improve their Gulag chances of winning, I will have a timestamp in the description to kind of skip you through all like the boring and basic stuff. For those who are new to Warzone and that haven't played Warzone or kind of don't know how the Gulag works yet, what happens is the first time you die and bleed out or get finished in game, you go to the Gulag. Now in the Gulag, you will be paired up against an enemy player from a different squad that has also died around the same time you have. You and the enemy player will 1v1 to see who gets to respawn. Now, there's a weird little thing where if you guys tie or trade shots or both die, both of you lose and both of you have to spectate your team. If you are in solo, you just go back to the main menu because you have no one to buy you back. But if you're in a team-based game mode, like squads, duos, trios, whatever, your team can buy you back for 4,500 points, but the Gulag is a way to get back for free. Also, you and the enemy player, it's first one to kill the other person wins. You have, I think, 30 seconds, and then after that 30 seconds is up, you have an overtime. A flag will spawn in the middle of the Gulag, and the first person to capture it or get the kill wins, and then will respawn for free. That's pretty much the sum of the Gulag. It's a 1v1, always will be a 1v1. Sometimes you have to wait, sometimes you will spawn right away into your battle, and sometimes, if no one enters the Gulag with you, so say you're around the final circle, because usually this is when it happens. If you're around that final zone just before the Gulag closes and no other enemies enter the Gulag, you will be sent back for free. This is very rare, however it does happen. As well as the second the Gulag closes, if you're waiting in the Gulag, you will be sent back for free. However, it is the final circles, so you'll be spawning with a pistol and most teams will be fully kitted, so you're at a huge disadvantage there. That's pretty much the rundown of how the Gulag works. Now I'm going to talk about how to win the Gulag. First thing you're going to want to do, look at your enemy through the wall. They have a red outline on them at the beginning of the Gulag fight. If they're looking at a certain direction, that is most likely where they're going to go. Some people will fake and look one way and then turn the other way once the red lines disappear and the Gulag fight starts. Most people that don't really have a strategy in the Gulag, the way they're looking is most likely the way they're going to run right off the bat. So if you can tell which way they're going to run the second that the timer runs down to 0 and the fight starts, you know they're going to be in that general area or moving that direction, so you can cut them off and get an easy kill that way. What I tend to do is I tend to not move at all while there's a red outline. I will just look at the enemy and try to gauge of which direction they're going. The reason I stand still is because the enemy will have less of an idea of which way I'm going to push once the Gulag fight starts. Once it does start, pay attention to your audio. So if you have headset on, pay attention to footsteps because you can hear where your enemy is pushing if you are hiding behind a wall or trying to flank them. That is a very good audio cue to use to see where your enemy is. I think it's 5 seconds into your Gulag fight, you will be given access to your equipment. You will usually have a grenade of some sort, sometimes a claymore, and you will also be given a stun grenade or a concussion grenade or a gas grenade of some sort. Sometimes you'll get a smoke as well. Use these to your advantage. If you push up to the mid of the map or the middle of the Gulag in your fight and the enemy is yet to be seen or heard, throw your stun grenade into their spawn where you think they're going to be, and they will be stunned. Once they're stunned, you can push and get an easy kill because they won't have time to react. Same thing with your lethal grenade. If you stun them, throw your lethal grenade very quickly and then rush once the explosion goes off, because chances are if they are stunned, that grenade will cause some damage to them, and if they're damaged a little bit, you can finish them off with your gun. In the Gulag, you are also usually given a shotgun of any caliber. It can be a 7.25, a Model 680, an R90, or an R90, whatever you want to call it, and the Origin 12. And you can just get any pistol as well. No attachments, nothing, just the bare bones gun. Pistols, in my opinion, are easier to win if you are more accurate, because obviously the more accurate you are, the easier you're going to get kills. However, the shotguns I find can be a little toss-up sometimes because the enemy player might not be skilled with accuracy, but because it's a shotgun at a close range scenario, they can shoot and get an easy kill that way. So shotguns I find a little bit harder to win those Gulags, but pistols I find very and extremely easy to win. Another tip to win the Gulag is to be confident. Confidence in the Gulag helps me win most of my games. If I can get a jump on the enemy or pressure them, they're gonna panic if they are a less skilled player than I am, and I will have a better chance of coming out on top and winning that Gulag to respawn. A lot of enemies, if you get them caught off guard in close range scenarios, they're gonna panic and just start spraying their gun or shotgun, and if they're stunned while you're pushing them, you can get an easy gun kill. But if you're close ranges, keep in mind, you can melee them. It's a 2-hit melee kill, so if the enemy is right up in your face and is stunned or is bad with their accuracy, you can punch them and get an easy kill. Also, when you do melee an enemy, they are going to be dazed a little. Once you hit an enemy, it stuns them a little and it slows their movement speed so they can't snap onto you with an aim or some shots as easily as if you were just running by them. So if you can get the melee kill, if you are put in that close quarter scenario, keep in mind that if the enemy has a shotgun and if you go for that melee kill without using your gun, chances are they're gonna kill you, because shotgun close range, you don't really need to be accurate. Even if you get one melee hit on them, you can die from the shotgun pretty easily. The only time I tend to melee is if both me and the enemy player are pushing very aggressively and we get in close range scenarios and we have to reload, or we just choose to melee first. That's kind of the time that I tend to melee. And if I also get the 357, because most enemies have bad accuracy with the 357 because they don't know the recoil patterns, or the gun kicks up and they can't really aim that accurate because of how high the barrel kicks off of a shot with that gun. Personally, for me, the 50 cal GS is a lot easier to win gunfight matches with, simply because I love the Desert Eagle and I know how the recoil patterns work. So if the enemy has that as well, I assume they're just as skilled, if not more skilled. So I'll tend to just shoot my bullets and then just kind of keep my distance in that sense. Even if the enemy is being aggressive in the Gulag with you, I always tend to be a little bit more aggressive, just because if they're confident and you seem more confident than they are, and it's just a battle of who can push the other one fastest, if you push as soon as possible, you can get the jump on them. Also, if the enemy is camping in their spawn and you don't have a tactical or a lethal, wait for that flag. This is the one time I will recommend camping in the Gulag, is if the enemy is behind their barriers in their spawn camping. When you start capturing that flag, it will force them to push out and towards that flag to try and kill you, and you can get an easy kill that way. Also, if they are trying to capture the flag, or if you have more health than they do, which I forgot to mention, that the end of the timer, whoever has more health at the end of overtime will win. That's just how it goes. A good way to practice for the Gulag is to do your gunfights in multiplayer. That's a good way to train for these Gulags if you aren't that skilled and kind of need a confidence boost within those gunfight situations where you don't want to have to kill yourself in Warzone to keep going to the Gulag to train. So if you want really good practice on just a confidence boost, go to the gunfight playlist within multiplayer, train there. Pretty straightforward to do. Getting back on topic now, if you can, in that final zone or that final circle in overtime, try to cut the enemy off from getting to that flag. Usually the enemy will start to panic, and you might start to panic a little as well if you get put into that overtime scenario where one person has to capture the flag. If you can watch all lanes to the flag and kind of see if they try to push the flag or not, you can get an easy kill, because they might be so focused on that flag that they just might want to capture it and then call it a day. That's pretty much going to be my tips and tricks to win the Gulag. I got a couple comments a few videos ago asking for help in the Gulag. I hope this does help you guys, as well as if there is anyone that has different strategies for the Gulag that seems to work, comment those down below. So not only I learned something new, but everyone else watching learned something new. I hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like if you did enjoy, dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more videos in the future. Check the description for my Discord link and a few other social media stuff in there as well. I'm about to head out, and if there is one, I will see you in the next one. Peace.